Don't know if you noticed, but we had a bit of weather recently.
Temperatures across the land plunged to Hollyoaks IQ level, and Nick Griffin's dream of an all-white Britain was finally realised.
The rolling networks covered it in much the same way they'd cover an alien invasion.
They rapidly dispatched journalists to all 18 corners of the nation, where they stood around looking cold and uncomfortable, a bit like hungry homeless people forlornly staring through the window of an upmarket restaurant, a diner sitting indoors in the warmth.
You could be forgiven for thinking that snow was a brand new, never-before-seen phenomenon.
Sky helpfully explained where it came from for the benefit of dimbo-dumbos.
To have snow, the layers of the atmosphere below cloud level must be cold enough to keep the flakes from melting.
We were also shown that snow is a cold, white, watery powder which can, in large quantities, render roads impassable and make pavements more slippery than usual. Mainly, though, we learned that snow is a disloyal, deceitful substance responsible for causing conditions that can only be described as treacherous.
Treacherous conditions on the roads as even tractors battle with the ice.
The few cars that did brave it, the going was treacherous.
Minor roads continue to be treacherous ice.
Although it turned out snow wasn't the only thing capable of treachery when there was a brief distraction in the middle of the blizzard in the form of an attempted political coup.
Since most of Sky's other reporters were standing around the country gawping at snowflakes, Kay Burley herself shot down to Westminster disguised as a pearly queen.
But it was a false alarm. Gordon Brown remained in power, and a humiliated Jeff Hume had to nod his way through impromptu bollockings from passing backbenchers to embarrassing effect on ITN.
Get on with doing your backbenchers, Joe. Okay. Good.
Having shot to the top of the news agenda, the coup quickly shrank back down. Meanwhile, back in the Kingdom of Narnia, the state of Britain's slippery pavements was providing bulletins with plenty of tittersome you've-been-framed style slapstick.
This spot in Bristol claimed 2 victims in very quick succession.
All they had to do was pop a camera next to an icy bit of pavement, hit record, sit back and let the hilarity commence.
It's still dangerous for Dublin pedestrians.
He's probably in hospital now. Slippery pavements were a huge concern for many journalists as they pandered to some of the moaniest people in Britain.
The pavement should be gritted like the roads. People leave their cars at home because they can't get off their drives and so forth and so on. They must be gritted like the roads.
Last year, during a cold snap, the news largely contented itself with showing viewers snowy shenanigans.
There was still plenty of that this time, and very charming it was too, but overall, the emphasis was firmly on the negative.
More schools are out now the snow puts A-levels and GCSE exams at risk. Record demand for gas and electricity strains supplies and pushes up prices. We explore how much the appalling weather will cost you.
Yes, to the miserable newsmongers, the snowfall was little more than a collection of new things to worry about.
They worried whether shopkeepers would run out of bread and pastries.
Last packet of croissants. Just got a few of the bits of snow Kingsmill stuff.
They worried whether their viewers knew how to defrost a frozen pipe.
Basically, once you locate the pipe, just turn the hairdryer on.
They even worried whether baboons could comprehend what was happening.
It's a shame we can't talk to the animals and tell them what all this cold, white stuff is.
No, it isn't.
Largely, though, they worried about the supply of grit.
We're in big problems with grit.
They were obsessed with the notion we might run out of grit, thereby killing everyone in Britain.
The news went live to every variety of gritting depot you could imagine.
There were boring gritting depots, dull gritting depots, tedious gritting depots, underwhelming gritting depots, undermanned gritting depots, manned gritting depots, indoor gritting depots, outdoor gritting depots, murky gritting depots, sexy gritting depots. Everywhere you looked, the news was taking it up the gritter. No wonder they lost all sense of perspective.
With more snow and ice forecast, is Britain sliding toward chaos?
While the reporters stood around looking miserable, concerned and serious, real people were having a laugh. They were frolicking, tumbling, sledging and arsing around in the background, precisely the sort of frivolity Alistair Stewart has no time for.
The bad weather has indeed brought great acts of humanity, but as you just saw, it's also been an excuse for spectacular stupidity.
With its doomy mantra of treacherous conditions, chaotic roads, perilous pavements, arctic winds and plummeting mercury, the news did its melodramatic best to turn the winter wonderland into a story of death from the skies.
It was a tale of woe, peril and treachery the general public just weren't buying.
What about this travel chaos, the misery across Britain, snowbound Britain?
Doesn't matter, does it?